Hello friend, Jim here with JB's Big Adventure coming to you from Lake Chapala, Mexico. Have I got a great video for you today, and it's going to be something that will kind of remind you of some things that will be very beneficial to you. But before I get to those, if you haven't already, I'd like to encourage you to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's fast, free, and easy to do. All you got to do is go to the bottom right-hand corner. There's a little red box. Tap on that, and you're subscribed. Go ahead and give us one of those thumbs up to let other people know it's a great video to watch about retiring to Lake Chapala. So let's get into the helping words that will really be important to you as you not only visit here at Lake Chapala, but you actually live here. These will be very, very important don'ts that you'll want to know about. First of all, don't drink the water. As you hear that a lot, you'll hear that from videos. You'll see that from reading, not to drink the water. There's several reasons for that. One is the water gets into the pipes and it can be contaminated. This normally happens when they're working on them or in an older area of town. That what will end up happening is they'll have those kind of issues. So you don't want to drink the water. For the most part, everything's going to be fine. Now, you can't drink all the water here. If your place that you're looking at renting or buying has reversed osmosis or filtrated water, then you're able to drink it and there's not going to be a problem. Where Barbara and I live, we're told here that the tap water is fine. We've had folks that have actually tested it, and so it's been okay. But we actually get the big jars, the big 5-gallon jars, jugs that actually they deliver to the house here for our drinking water. So don't just assume to drink the water. Normally in the restaurants, the water will be just fine. Now, I heard one time they said if you're looking at the ice cubes and the ice cubes have holes in it, then in fact that's okay water. I mean, that's filtered water that those ice cubes are created from. So just some tips and pointers for you when it comes to the water. Don't go out without cash. As you're out and about, here's what you're going to find. You're going to find something that you would like to buy. You're going to find somebody that you'd like to help, whatever it may be. Make sure you got some cash on you, because cards for the most part are not accepted here. There are restaurants, you can use it at Walmart. There are places you can use it, but there's a lot of places that don't. And it's for the most part a cash and carry society and experience here at Lake Chapala. Just the opposite of that, don't have too much cash on you. You don't want to be a target. Don't just carry a bunch of money and start flashing it around. You want to be careful while you're living here, just like you would anywhere in the States or up in Canada. Just make sure you're not flashing money all over the place. I would say also, don't overindulge. When it comes to drinking in Mexico, it's an easy thing to get wrapped up because they do it here and it's a big thing. Celebrations, parties, there might be parades that go by that might have also alcohol. You can't drink alcohol on the streets though, so it's actually got to be in a restaurant setting. So as you're out and about, don't be carrying cans of beer wherever you're going. And when you're at the restaurant, don't overindulge. Know when your limit is, and then be willing to step away, because that way you'll know that not only will you be safe, but you're not going to cause any kind of issues with the people there at the restaurant. And on top of that, it just makes a lot of sense to not overindulge and get out of hand anywhere here at Lake Chapala. Don't be afraid to explore. Don't be afraid to go to other parts of the lake, go to other towns. I mean, if you're going to be here and you haven't ridden out or driven out or had rides out to Jocotepec, go and check Jocotepec out. If you haven't been out to Vista del Lago, it's a golf course on the other side of Chapala. Take an easy ride out there. Go to Mescala or take a boat ride to Mescala Island. I mean, there's things that you can do, you can explore outside of just being right here close by at Lakeside. Here's another one. Don't go out without toilet paper. Now, you're going to hear this because there's issues here, not only sanitary, but there's also issues here with the plumbing pipes being small, not being able to carry a lot of debris along with it. So you might go out to a restaurant. You might find a place that's maybe it's one of the public restrooms that might not have toilet paper. Sometimes they have people in front that are actually You pay the 5 cents and they give you some toilet paper and you go in and use the toilet. What I would say to you is always have that in your, either have it, some inside your bag or in your pocket or whatever it may be. But I would encourage you to have some along in case you come somewhere or go somewhere and it turns out that they don't have or offer toilet paper. Don't get inside of a taxi or a personal driver's vehicle without first of all knowing what the cost is. Just make sure that both parties, they know where they're going to take you and you know what it's going to cost you. You're not going to find Uber or Lyft here at Lake Chapala. What you are going to find is taxis and also private drivers. Now, if it came down to the two, I always try to steer folks towards the private drivers. And here's the reason why. Because you get to know them and they get to know you. And if they're giving you a ride somewhere and it's a place that you go on an often way, you'll just know. You'll gain a relationship. And when you call, they'll know exactly who you are and they'll be able to drive you wherever it is you want to go. So always make sure you know what the price is. Don't spend big bills at small shops. The small shops can have things that are less than 100 pesos. What you don't want to do is give somebody a $500 bill and you're buying something that's 65 pesos. Can you see what happens? So they're not banks. So I would encourage you to have 100 peso bills. Yes, you can have 500s, but make sure you've got some of the small denominations. That way it's real easy to be able to purchase something without it becoming a problem. This is a big one here. Don't tell the Mexican people to speak Spanish. Don't just assume that everybody's going to be able to speak English. I'm sorry. Don't expect the Mexicans to speak English. So don't just assume that everybody speaks English because they don't. That's a big thing here. It's our job. We are guests. So we need to be speaking Spanish. And I'm going to share something with you as I close out the video. I'll give you some tips on learning Spanish and some things that you'll want to make sure that you know. Here's another one. Don't be impatient. I realize as we come from faster lifestyles being in the States or in Canada, just realize that things are slower here. So don't expect everything to be fast and happen Johnny on the spot right away. They'll probably maybe even say this, which just means just a little bit more time. And they're going to be able to help you. So just know that if you're impatient, even when you're driving, don't be the person that's behind a Mexican driver and you're going to honk the horn because they're not getting away from you or making the turn as quick as they should be. Or you're at a light and you're honking behind somebody, ends up being a Mexican that stopped at the traffic light. Don't get impatient. Just realize that it's a slower pace of life, and what will happen is that will work out a lot better for you. Don't forget to miss out on the markets. There's 3 markets here. There's one on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. The market on Monday is in Chapala. The market on Tuesday, it's an organic market. It's in West Ajijic. And the Wednesday market is held in downtown Lake Chapala, or downtown Chapala. They're really good to go to. One, it helps spur on the economy. You're helping the Mexican families. And it's a great place to get a chance to see more of the culture here at Lake Chapala. So don't forget to get to the markets. Also, don't forget your walking shoes. Make sure you've got comfortable shoes. There is cobblestone here. And you don't want to find yourself, tripping or, tearing your ankle up or anything that would be harmful. Don't just walk around just on flip-flops and think that everything's going to be fine. Make sure you're wearing walking shoes or tennis shoes. That way you'll be safer that way. Don't miss indulging and enjoying the Mexican food here at Lake Chapala. There's great food options here. There's a wide range of different ethnicities when it comes to eating at one of the restaurants. So I would encourage you to do that. And again, it supports the Mexican people. Here's a big one. Don't get here and stress out about the violence or about the crime or about the cartel. I will just tell you, if you're in the States and you live in Cleveland, or you live in Miami, or you live in LA, or you live in Chicago, wherever it may be, New York, you don't sit there being concerned about the crime. Well, you don't have to be concerned about it, but you ought to be concerned about it. The crime is anywhere near. I had somebody that's coming down that their son had told them, well, Dad, you're taking down a truck. Just be careful because they steal a lot of trucks down there. And I'm thinking, you know what? I've heard of only one car theft, and it was an instance clear back in September of last year. There was a car stolen. There were some people that were arrested, but it isn't a big thing. You don't hear about people being broken into, or people are getting things taken from them, or the crime isn't anywhere near what people say it is. Don't come here and get all worked up about the crime, because it's simply a great place to be, to visit, and to be able to live and retire, because it's very, very, very low crime rate. If you're driving, don't be driving here without Mexican auto insurance. You don't want to get in trouble and have a problem. This is a really important thing. I encourage folks to get their automotive insurance from our insurance agent, and here's why. Because if you get into an accident, there's rules here in Mexico that you've got to follow. Well, if you get involved in an accident and you don't speak Spanish, you're going to have the police, you're going to have the fire department, you're going to have people showing up that speak Spanish but not English. This office speaks total good English. It turns out also that they make it a point to let you know if you're involved in an accident 24/7. It doesn't matter if it's a holiday. Make sure you call their office, because they're going to be right there on the spot with you to help you with whatever issue and thing that's going on right then, so they can actually intervene for you. So don't drive here at Lake Chapala without having Mexican driver's license or Mexican insurance. Another thing I share, and that is, don't forget to say thank you to the Mexican people. Again, we're guests. It's important for us to be very, very understanding of them and their culture and their speed of doing things. It's just the way it is. I want to encourage you, when you've had good service in anything, that you say thank you, muchas gracias. When you do that, what you're doing is you're letting them know that you really appreciate the fact that they're working for you, they're doing something for you. I mean, I thank our gardener. I thank the gal that actually is the housekeeper for our house. I try to make it a point. If we're at a restaurant, the server, I might even say thank you to the owner if the owner is there that we know. It's just a good practice. Say thank you. We're guests. We're here as visitors. Say thank you. Don't wear flashy jewelry. When you wear flashy jewelry, you put an X on your back. You're marking yourself. You don't want to be doing that. You want to be having all the bangles and have everything and be showing it off. I mean, if you got a Rolex, great, but don't, go into everybody and showing everybody you've got a Rolex, or you've got a bunch of jewelry, or you're wearing a gold piece around your neck. Just be careful with that. Be careful the same way as if you were in the States. Just be careful. Don't trust the first set of directions that you get anywhere. This is one of those things that's crazy. I mean, people want to tell you where to go, and if you're asking them where something's at, and they have no idea. I mean, it's just amazing to me. I'm not just talking about the Mexican people. I'm talking about expats. Have no idea how to give directions here. I don't know what it is. They must get lost a lot or something. But don't, just because somebody tells you of a way, that's going to be the way it actually is. We've been given directions, and when we first got here, we had no idea where to go. And so it was really important. I've learned over a period of time, if you ask directions, just realize that might not be the best directions. So be willing to ask a few people first. Don't expect people here to show up on time. I've known of restaurants that have actually had issues with employees that they don't show up on time. But if you're getting, you've got a reservation at a restaurant or something, don't be late. Be on time. Respect them. The restaurants here, there's times where they get full. They've got a lot of people there and they need to serve. And so just be respectful of that, of their time also. But enjoy yourself, but just don't expect everybody to show up on time. Don't expect, even if you're meeting with friends. I mean, there's just something about living here that everybody goes into mañana mode after a period of time. I realize we get here going fast, 90 miles an hour, but just realize that when you get here, things are going to be a lot slower. Don't forget to wash your hands and sanitize. That's an important thing to do. Carry sanitizer, making sure you're washing your hands, getting ready to eat, or whatever it may be you're doing. Just don't forget before you do that to wash your hands and sanitize. Do not, and I say this, do not exchange your money at the airport. The exchange rate that you're really going to get is not a good one. Now, I know there was a time where the exchange rate was between 20 and 21 here, and at the airport they were only offering 16 pesos for a US dollar. So don't get your pesos at the airport. You'll really get a lot less than what you should have. So the way to get most for your money is to use an ATM when you're here at Lake Chapala. Don't forget that traffic signs and signals are merely suggestions. When you're driving, you have to be looking on both sides, because there are times where motorcycles will go right up across the side of you. When you're turning and you're in the Chapala and also along Lake Chapala, going into all the way from Ajijic to Hocotepec, just be careful. If you're turning right, if you're heading from Chapala or Ajijic and you're going to Hocotepec, always be looking to the right side. Make sure there's no bikes. There is a long, in fact, it goes all the way, a bike route, walking route, running route that goes all the way from Chapala to Hocotepec. Just make sure if you're driving that when you're getting ready to make a right turn, that you're making sure there's not a bicyclist to be coming by, or even a motorcycle. They even ride the motorcycles in those things, but they're not supposed to. If they get stopped, they're in a lot of trouble. So just make sure and know that traffic signs and traffic lights, I've seen people run the light. I've seen expats even run a red light. I cannot believe it when that happens. So it's like, well, because the attitude, it's kind of an entitlement attitude. Well, if they're going to do it, I can do it too. That doesn't make it right. What you got to do is make sure that you're abiding by those. So you're not only are you an example, but it's something you should be doing. To have care about other people that are out there driving also. Don't be a selfish driver. Just know that they might not stop at the lights, but it doesn't mean that you can't. Also, there are those folks that will go around other people at a light. Just realize it's sometimes the way it is here. Don't let that get you down, but just know that the traffic signs and lights here are merely suggestions. Don't expect punctuality. Now, I mentioned earlier about people showing up. If you're meeting somebody, it doesn't have to just be a Mexican, it can be an expat. Don't always expect them to be there right on time. I mentioned earlier, I don't know what it is, but just don't expect punctuality. And there's a wide range of things I can tell you that you've got to just kind of roll with the punches. But just know that's the thing here, that you can't always count on that. Don't honk your horn and be impatient. That's an important one for being impatient, and it's honking your horn. Don't do that. Be careful. I mean, if you're honking your horn because somebody's going to be in trouble or get hurt or something, by all means. But just because you're sitting behind a motorcycle or something at a light, and you think that, well, you don't have to wait for the light to go green, and you're honking for somebody to hurry up and get out of the way, don't do that. That's not good here. Be an example. Don't expect to get on the city bus and it be empty. Barbara and I even took the bus that goes to Guadalajara. And this is the long-range bus. This is the bus that goes directly from Lake Chapala to Guadalajara. You can get on that bus because it goes from Chapala to Hocotepec, and then it goes out to Guadalajara. Don't expect to get on it, and the seats are not taken. So there's a good chance you could be standing. So just know that when you get on a bus, whether it's a city bus or whether it's a direct bus that goes to Guadalajara, you might be standing. So just know that. So don't expect necessarily to get a seat, but expect that you possibly could be standing. Here's probably one of the last ones I want to share with you. And that is, don't forget to learn and use some Spanish, basic Spanish. Please, por favor, please, por favor. Where is the bathroom? ¿Dónde es baños? ¿Dónde es baños? Where's the bathroom? How much is this? How much is it? ¿Cuántos pesos? And then they'll tell you. Hello. Hola. That's hello. Hola. Thank you. Muchas gracias. Thank you. Muchas gracias. I don't speak Spanish. No habla español. That lets them know you don't speak Spanish, and you're going to try to do the best of understanding them. Do you speak English? Habla español. Habla inglés. Habla inglés. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit here because I know what to say. I'm trying to get the words matched up here. Do you speak English? Habla inglés. Nice to meet you. Mucho gusto. Mucho gusto. Nice to meet you. You can wave, you can shake their hand, but mucho gusto. And the last one, goodbye. Adios. So learn some of those basic words. I think that would be very, very helpful for you. I think what you'll find is a way of communicating some and being very, very respectful and understanding of the Mexican people. So I hope these don'ts have come in a positive way for you, not a negative way, but in a positive way. So you know some kind of the silent rules, the silent don'ts that are here at Lake Chapala. So friend, I hope that helps you with your visit or with you retiring here at Lake Chapala. If you have not yet, I'd like to encourage you to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's fast, free, and easy to do. Just go to the bottom right-hand side of the screen. There's a little red box. Tap on it. If you're subscribed, you'll know when our next video comes out, and you don't want to miss our next video. Also, go ahead and give us one of those thumbs up. Lets other people know it's a great video to watch about retiring to Lake Chapala. Stop by, say hi, ask a question, let us know of a video idea that you'd like to see. And always make sure, yes, that you hit the bell, because you, in fact, will be notified of when our next video comes out. So with that, as always, thank you for being a part and supporting this community and this channel. Have an awesome day, and we'll see you on the next video.